And bring in Naresh Kumar, Managing Director at Jindal Drilling, joining us on Power Lunch. Naresh, good to have you with us. The big concern, of course, coming in for you these days is all this talk about rig rates coming down from the peak just as far as recently as July. So is that something that worries you, or is it a cyclical thing that you'd already sort of taken into consideration?
No, from our point of view, we have long-term contracts. And rig rates on the jackup sides have little softened, which impact will be, I think, after 6 months on different companies. But so far as Jindal Drilling is concerned, we are insulated from that because we have long-term contracts. And deep water drilling, so far as is concerned, worldwide there is still a very acute shortage, and rates are still going up.
All right, so, but then
for the drilling companies and oil companies.
All right. On the flip side, though, Naresh, there is this whole fear that with crude oil prices climbing down significantly, overall demand will drop. Is that something that you're starting to hear?
Not really, because all these projects are long-term projects with the oil companies. What you will see is the smaller players, smaller oil companies, individuals, they might have some challenges in getting finances for their exploration and development programs. But all the large oil companies, they have their programs drawn up for long. And rigs are not that many available which will still meet their requirements. And in particular, there is a shortage of contractors, those who are experienced, and oil companies have got a lot on stake to take the rigs which are not with the experienced contractors, because as you know that worldwide there are a lot of speculators, those who have been building both deep water and on the jackup side, mid-water size. So for the companies like us, there is still good potential.
All right. The other point, of course, then you mentioned that most of your contracts are long-term contracts. You're not worried about pricing fears on that front. But are you looking at fresh orders? Because most of your rigs are commissioned with ONGC. Are you looking at fresh orders either from ONGC or other players?
We are working on a few contracts. Actually, we are planning to expand our operations in Middle East and Southeast Asia. And we are looking at assets also which will be rightly priced now with those investors and speculators, those who have built. They're getting some problems about funding now. So we have our firm plans. Like, for example, this year we are expecting a growth on top line and bottom line which is in excess of 80%. Same as the next year. And we will be adding perhaps a deep water in year after that. So,
all right. So pretty much on track then. But you also, of course,
the service companies.
You of course recently raised about $300 million via the ECB route. What sort of an impact does that have on your interest payouts?
No, we didn't. Jindal Drilling didn't raise any ECB.
All right. Just to then move ahead, you've also,
we don't need anyone.
All right, so that's a good thing. I suppose your shareholders will be happy to hear that. Moving ahead, though, your overall guidance for the year, you had talked about a good, strong 80% increase in profits for the financial year. Would you say you're on track with that target?
Yes, absolutely. Because our first rig from a joint venture company in Singapore, which started operations about 2 weeks ahead of schedule as for the last delivery date. And I'm happy to say that and share that perhaps we are the only company in the world which has the rigs, a new built rig, started operations on the day one and hour one. And it's doing well, touch wood, by God's grace and by the efforts of our team, such a dedicated team. And I must thank my clients also for lending their support in providing inputs at the right times.
All right, Naresh Kumar, the Managing Director there at Jindal Drilling. Touching wood for you here in the studio as well. So thanks very much for joining us, and all the best with closing out the financial like